one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please. Supervisor Decker called and she is excused this evening. Okay, we will move on to citizen comments. Citizen comments. Citizen comments. Citizen comments is closed. Going to move on to the presentation of the 2016 budget by Supervisor Rose. Supervisor Rose, you have the floor, sir.
All right, and thank you, Mr. Chairman and board members. I would like to present to you on behalf of the Finance Committee this evening the 2016 county budget. And these, I think, are some of the salient highlights of that budget, and we will provide these key points to you on Thursday, as I think they're good talking points in the debate or thereafter. It's a quick summary of what we adopted in the 2016 budget. The general purpose levy in 2016 is over $60 million, $60,087,146, which is the 2.5% increase over last year. If you translate that to a home valued at $100,000, that homeowner will pay $1.31 less in 2016 than in 2015. In 2015, and these are round numbers, in 2015 our expenses were $270 million. This is the overall expenditures. And in 2016, they are down by $9.9 million. So again, round numbers, $261 million are the 2016 expenditures. The Human Services Department has the largest expenditures in terms of operating expenditures, and they exceed $83.2 million. This is 44% of your operating budget, including debt service, and this also involves a decrease in expense, down 12% because of the Brookside expansion expense in 2015, not included in 2016. So what are the major levy impacts in 2016? Our county personnel costs have increased $2 million. This is composed of such items recommended in the 2015 classification and compensation study. We debated that, we authorized that, $587,769. $250,000 for the implementation of recommendations for new compensation and classification study for the corrections personnel. That study is in progress. The $250,000 is an estimate. We may or may not use that. That is up to the board, but that's included in the budget in the event that, one, there is a recommendation for increases, and two, that the board adopts it. Human services positions which are funded through grant money, $311,024. Sheriff's Department, Silver Lake deputies, pursuant to that new contract that we authorized, where the Sheriff's Department is providing law enforcement services, $272,848. Additional other departmental personnel, $169,953. And then various health insurance increases due to new employees previously noted, some $532,649. This constitutes the increased personnel costs of some $2 million. We are at least budgeting federal inmate holds at 199 people. That's the same as in 2015. We've also budgeted some $148,842 for a new mental health services contract at the county jail. We proposed, and the sheriff has proposed, that we contract for additional psychology services for various mental health problems that we've discussed many times for various inmates over the course of a year. To meet that need, the sheriff recommended, and we approved, $148,842 for that purpose. That's a new program. Law enforcement constitutes the largest portion of the county levy. Human Services may have the largest number of expenditures, but a good deal of theirs constitutes money that is passed from either federal government or the state government. Actual tax levy money, the largest portion going to law enforcement, $34.8 million, or some 56% of your tax levy. The other items that are increasing this year, debt service increases $708,278. This is not because we have more debt, it's just because there's more principal being paid. And if you recall, we had some bonds that were reissued, refunded, resulting in more money being paid on principal than interest. So this is a function of that. It's not because of any kind of sudden new debt, but most of it, a good deal of it is attributable to the principal that is being paid. Highway and transportation aids are up. The revenue for the state maintenance, and I think the Supervisor Ullman reported that we were anticipating that we were going to do additional work for the state. That increase is anticipated to be $182,000. We're also anticipating additional sales tax revenue of over almost $1.1 million. Of course, this is a projection, but it's a projection based upon what we have seen for a number of years. We're projecting this based on the fact that we think that retail sales will be up, that car sales will be up, that Amazon is charging a sales tax on their internet sales, and that there will be additional new construction in 2016 as there was in 2015. If you take a look at Brookside, we have been running a surplus there, and we anticipate in 2016 again a surplus. That $500,000 of the surplus would be going into the general fund. This indeed is a decrease, but keep in mind, and we discussed this when we were talking about Brookside, that $141,339 additional surplus will be used to pay off the debt on the construction project, which I think is quite positive. The Human Services Department Children and Family Placement costs, not covered by other revenue sources such as Medicare, will increase $108,738. That's because the formula that the state is using for these placement costs to place young children in various foster homes has changed. They're using a new methodology, and if you have particular questions about that, the people at Human Services can answer that. But the way they figure how a foster parent is paid is now based upon a new formula recommended by the state, implemented by counties, thus resulting in over $108,000 of anticipated new costs for 2016. An additional new program we've listed is $325,000 for a behavioral health recidivism pilot program to be operated by Human Services Department Division of Aging and Disabilities. This is an attempt to cut down on the people who repeatedly end up in the hospital. They take their medications on a daily basis by pill form. Sometimes they don't always comply with the prescription and end up back in the hospital costing the county considerable money. This new program is anticipated not to be a daily pill, but a monthly shot, and the increased cost is $325,000, which we would hope, and that's why we're calling it a pilot program, which we would hope would reduce your overall mental health costs in the future. Next new item is a $55,000 expenditure for the management training program called Living as Leaders. It's in progress now. They meet at Kemper Center, and it's an attempt to educate the upper middle management in some new thoughts and ideas through this new management training program, $55,000. If you recall, and again, we discussed this, the state has eliminated they did eliminate their state property insurance program. And that was supposed to end at 2015, but it was extended to 2016, ending December 31st of 2016. Might it be extended again? Who knows? But at any rate, because different counties had withdrawn from that program in 2015, the overall premiums are obviously up because there are fewer people paying, and that expense goes up $45,000, and it's anticipated, and it's now being looked at by the Finance Department, where we will go for 2017. It's not anticipated that we would continue in that program, even if the legislature decides to once again extend it another year. It looks like the program is on life supports in any event. Register of Deeds is anticipating an increase in revenues of $130,000 because more documents will be recorded, anticipating that there will be more real estate sales, more refinances, more mortgage documents filed, so resulting in additional revenue of $130,000 projected. If you're asking, are we going to meet our state levy limit requirements? State imposes levy limit requirements on all counties, and we are well within those levy limits. We are approximately $12 million under the limit. So we are very comfortably under that limit. You wouldn't meet the limit until you spent $12 million. We're certainly not recommending that, but I just want to underscore that we are well within the levy limit set by the state legislature. I think the next item, the equalized value, is quite important from the very first item that I talked about at the beginning of the statement, the expenditures and why your average home value will decrease about $1.31 on a $100,000 home in 2016. Well, that has to do with your equalized value. The increase was $375 million in 2016. A growth from new construction of that $375 million accounts for $325 million of the 375. So that's very good. The balance was everybody else's real estate being inflated just due to normal inflation in the prior year. The budget includes a number of major improvements for capital items. The Civic Center project, there's $500,000 there to purchase some property around the courthouse. We've done that before. We're proposing to do it again in 2016. These are the addresses and proposed purchases at 1115 56th Street, 1116 57th Street, 5622 11th Avenue. So if you approve of that, you are improving anticipated either expansion of some function of county government or bringing things closer to the courthouse or additional parking. There's nothing specific here that we are proposing be done on those particular pieces of real estate, but they're all available to us at this time. There is certainly some deterioration in about the central city here, and I think that's a wise thing to do, is to add the $500,000 to the budget for that future development and possible expansion. Certainly parking would be very high on that list. The roof at the county center on 45 and 50 needs replacing. That's $600,000. $450,000 for new highway division fueling system there. To complete the joint services public safety software project, $635,000. Information technology projects, $2.5 million, and I've listed that in that memo. The highway department also includes $1.1 million for equipment replacement, almost $3.5 million for infrastructure projects such as paving 13 miles of asphalt and beginning the County Trunk Highway C project. We are also recommending to you that you add to Brookside $1.5 million for the facility to improve or the efficiency of various operations and to improve the facility itself. The old budget did not, for example, include a basement. After listening to those people involved in the facility construction and architecture, a basement was decided would be a wise thing to include. That's part of the $1.5 million. Upgraded flooring, and there's also some change of entry and exit and entry for employees, which will make it a little more efficient. All of that wraps into the $1.5 million new facility features. We are going to begin the process of renovating the 4 courtrooms over a 5-year period of time. The first $225,000 included here is for branch 4, and that it's anticipated that the estimate for each courtroom will be $450,000. The $225,000 is to begin for engineering costs for the modernization of branch 4, and that would include the engineering portion includes gutting the courtroom along with technical upgrades to communications and sound systems. And again, it's anticipated that each courtroom would be $450,000. The budget resolution, which is a very important document that addresses many things that we anticipate doing. It has some accounting features. It's not a document to be overlooked, but one to be studied. Includes a recommendation for the jail and corrections operations, the staffing levels, overtime, salary, benefits, recruitment, retention, and there's, if you recall, been some talk at both Finance Committee and elsewhere about do we or don't we need more staff in the Sheriff's Department or the Corrections Department. This will address those kinds of issues. There's been discussion about overtime. Too much, not enough, new employees for that. Again, the study will deal with that. We certainly can debate all those issues anytime you want, but my advice or the committee's advice on that is to at least hold your issue on that until we obtain the study of jail and corrections operations, see what they think of staffing levels, overtime issues, salary and benefits, and then we can take it up at that time. Along that line, I think it's of interest for you to note that a starting wage for a jailer, $17.84 plus benefits. The top wage for a jailer is $23.54. The budget resolution also includes additional funding for Kenosha Area Business Alliance CABA High Impact Fund. We are recommending $250,000 additional be placed in that fund. That would be bonded money. If you ask, well, what is there in that fund to date? The answer is $705,000. And of that 705, $430,000 net for prior commitments for gourmet food and Niagara bottling. So I think the $250,000 here is a modest addition to that. Over the years, if you want to know how much we have used out of our high impact fund over the last 5 years since it started, the answer is $3 million. The budget resolution also includes a withdrawal from the local government property insurance fund effective December 31st, 2015, and giving proper notice. We've discussed that. There are some minor changes in the policy and procedures manual. Nothing here that's real substantial. There's some county fund balance reserve policy changes, and I would emphasize once again what I've emphasized on behalf of the committee a number of times. Our goal on the reserves is to eventually move up to more of that 25% level. We're at, the resolution says 17%, but our goal is to become a AAA county for a number of reasons, including it enhances one's economic development prospects. It looks good to the outside. Interest rates eventually will go up, so there's going to be a saving there. Those are some of the reasons why we're aiming in that direction. The reserve policy issue here is directed toward the ultimate goal of being a triple A county. We held hearings over 4 days. I think the committee did a lot of work. The recommendations that the various departments were made were included, were approved, and the budget was unanimously voted upon. So, Mr. Chairman, this is my report to you, and we recommend this budget to you for debate and approval on Thursday evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Rose, for that in-depth report. I appreciate it, sir. Before I go on to the next meeting, I need a motion to adjourn. It's been moved by Supervisor Esposito to adjourn, seconded by Supervisor Ron Frederick. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Okay. We'll go on to the organizational meeting. And I will call the meeting to order immediately, as I just did. And we'll do a roll call again for each meeting, okay? Yeah, we did. Yeah, put you in at, I think, 7-7 or something like that. Yep. Okay, Supervisor Decker is excused. And we'll move on to we'll go on to citizen comments, excuse me. Citizen comments, anybody wishing to speak? Citizen comments is closed. Announcements to the chairman, I'm going to save mine for the next meeting right after this one. We'll go on to supervisor reports in this meeting here. Is there any supervisor reports? Seeing none, we'll go. I need a motion to adjourn Sendai. It's been moved by Supervisor John O'Day to adjourn Sendai, seconded by Supervisor Rick Dodge. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Okay, we'll go on to the third and final meeting for the evening, folks. And I'll call the meeting to order immediately. Roll call again is needed. This is going to clear the board, and we're going to do it one more time. Supervisor Noble, can you punch yourself in, sir, please? Thank you. Supervisor Decker is excused. Move on to citizen comments. Citizen comments? Anybody wishing to speak, citizen comments? Citizen comments is closed. Announcements of the chairman, just a reminder that this Thursday, the 12th, at 7:30, we'll be meeting to finalize and vote on the budget. This Thursday, the 12th, 7:30, these chambers. You also have on your desk a little point of personal privilege. I have my 10th annual food drive this Saturday. I'll be collecting food for the Shalom Center from 10 till 2 at Time Warner Cable Company this Saturday, 10 to 2. If you don't want the flyers, leave them on your desk. We'll pick them up afterwards. You also have some calendars for the next upcoming year. In case you don't have phones or anything, you want to use these calendars, you can. And that's all I have. New business, County Clerk.
Policy resolution, first reading, 2 required. From the Finance Administration Committee, Policy Resolution 2016 Budget Resolution. Approval of the November 3rd, 2015 minutes by Supervisor Grady.
Supervisor Grady.
Move to approve November 3rd minutes as presented. I also like the time clock to refer that I was here at 7:05 p.m. this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Grady. It's been moved for approval by Supervisor Grady. Is there a second? Second by Supervisor Esposito. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Can I get a motion for adjournment for this evening? It's been moved by Supervisor Rick Dodge to adjourn, seconded by Supervisor Gable. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.